Let's see if I can get this oriented correctly. Yeah, with the raw on top there. I've been busy making stacks of these panticles of LMD. This is my magic panticle. And I'm getting ready to make, about 35 or 40 of these for my talk, my upcoming talk at the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Cleveland. And I thought I would I'm going to lecture on this, and I've got a slideshow and stuff like that. But I always like to make some kind of little handout, treat, goody, toy kind of thing when I do a Kabbalah lecture. Uh, Sometimes I've been known, like at PantheaCon, I've been known to make like 200 uh, of these squares, cubes of space. And once I did that, it took me about 2 weeks. I took a picture of them stacked up on my office floor like pyramids, and they each had I don't know if this one does. Yeah, they each had three little uh, pipe cleaner things around a black dot in it, and put them on everybody's chair. PantheaCon was always in a big hotel, and but I do that because if I really don't have anything important for somebody to hear, at least they come away with a little toy or a little treat of some kind. So it sort of takes the pressure off of me. If I got a swell handout or a souvenir, I can leave with somebody. At least they don't leave completely thinking it was a waste of time. Uh, Many of them do anyway. So, but I wanted to. It got me thinking about teaching and things like that, and uh, my son is a real teacher. Okay, I mean he's teaches at a university. Okay, and I never really thought of myself as a teacher because the second you label yourself something, you separate yourself from yourself, if that, if that makes any sense. Uh, but and at school, oh geez, that kind of teacher, I have to say, for the most part, the teachers that I had in school, I was lucky enough to not have too many unpleasant memories of teachers at school. In high school, I had a mixed bag of teachers that influenced my life to this day. Okay. Uh, Mr. Larson, who I refer to as Mr. Carlson in my Life with the Spirits, was not only the choir director and the head of the music department of all the city schools in Columbus, Nebraska. I don't know why he took me under his wing early on. I was still in grade school, and because I could sing, okay, and I, I didn't have any reticence about getting out on stage and being an exhibitionist I was so, I don't know, unconscious of everything I I could be worked with, okay, on stage. Okay, I could be counted on to give some kind of a performance. And when the high school would have their yearly high school musicals, and his all year after year after year won state awards and things like that. He was like a winning coach, if you can imagine a music director being the winning coach of a team, held great power. As a matter of fact, he uh, his his literal bullying of all my other teachers throughout high school, uh, bullying them into make sure I got at least a C plus average in all those classes. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do the extracurricular activities. So he bullied them all into giving me a C plus, and I took full advantage of that. I never carried a book home. I never passed a test. I was awful. Okay, I was just awful, and I was expelled twice in school, and partially because of his influence, I got back in. One time, his influence and the influence of the American Civil Liberties Union, because I was kicked out for just stupid. I was draft counseling, and they expelled me for sedition, which is laughable. And anyway, that's a long story. But Mr. Larson not only taught me to sing, not only taught me to have a certain stage presence and such, got me through high school, but it gave me the discipline of loving the discipline of an art of some kind, performance art. And but he was also my typing teacher. So he taught me how to type. Okay. And so there's that one teacher that had such great influence on me. And I have no other word but to say I was blessed in the last couple years of his life. He died about, probably less than 10 years ago. But we reconnected. Okay. He read my book, My Life with the Spirits, and recognized himself in my book. And thank God I honored him in the book. But we wrote back and forth, and he was just the same uh, genius, migraine headache, uh, tyrant saint, And oh, he sent me back, tapes of my performances of in the Music Man and things like that, and just it was so gratifying to be able to properly express my gratitude toward that teacher. And I had other teachers. Mr. Brown made me politically aware, politically sophisticated, truly. Uh, and so he gave me a sense of history, a sense of politics and geopolitics and economics and things like that. But he didn't teach that in school. He taught that to me over cigarettes and coffee after school. So I don't know what he saw in me either, but he saw something in me and said, I'm going to make sure Lon doesn't go to Vietnam. Okay. I'm going to make sure Lon knows what Vietnam was really about, and in doing so, pretty much what the rest of the world was about. So there is a wonderful teacher, Mr. Brown. Then there was Mr. Wright, my literary uh, uh, teacher, uh, who was taught me to appreciate the classics and things like that. I had teachers that befriended me. I had teachers that took me places, did things together, uh, met after school, smoked cigarettes, you know. Uh, but they were really teachers, not just the hour that you spend with them during your classes. And I was so incredibly lucky to have somebody that. Oh, and then there was Mr. Hathaway. He was my Spanish and my French teacher. Hated me, hated my guts. Loved Constance, he would always say. And he just broke his heart when she and I got married. But but anyway, there's teachers of all kinds, and uh, people write me, and sometimes they write me and refer to me as a teacher. Okay, and I'm uh, I'm a little embarrassed because I don't actually think of myself as a teacher because that bears a certain amount of responsibility that I've always tried to avoid being responsible uh, for anything. But it has more or less fallen to me to be referred to, in a sense, as a teacher. And a number of years ago, somebody wrote me uh, about what I think is necessary for a good teacher, a teacher in magic, uh, because I do get a lot of correspondence, uh, asking me to be, will you be my mentor or my okay, and no, I won't. Sorry. Sorry. I can barely take responsibility for myself. Uh, I'm happy to share with you and to uh, uh, have you learn what you will from me. But no, I'm not going to. Not only do I not have time for it, but that would put me in an uh, artificial position. I at least consider it such. Oh, somebody's backing up in the alley there. Uh, Somebody asked, what would be the traits of a magical teacher? And here's what I came up with. Where magical teachers are concerned, I guess I sort of sit with my pea shooter at the very back of the class and on the extreme left wing of the building. Of course, I've read about great gurus who can read your mind and materialize in your bedroom to collect and to correct your spelling. I threw that in because my official magical teacher for a while was the great Soror Meryl, uh, Phyllis Seckler, and the poor lady spent more time correcting my spelling. And I was thinking that today because the copy editor at Weiser Just sent back my things. In the old days, they used red pencils, okay, and now they use the electronic equivalent of red pencils. But I used to get my manuscripts back, and it looked like they bled to death. Okay, there's so much red. So, and Phyllis spent a lot of time correcting my grammar and my spelling too, which, sort of like Mr. Larson teaching me how to type, has at least, if not completely corrected, improved my consciousness of trying to do those things correctly. But I digress. Okay. I've read about great gurus who can read your mind, materialize in your bedroom, and correct your spelling when their bodies are actually hundreds of miles away. Masters who can describe to you your previous incarnations and itemize every article in your karmic baggage. I've read about them, but I've never met one. Magic, in my opinion, is something that can't be taught. It must be learned. Often you learn about it from other people. However, the moment those other people start to identify themselves as your teacher and you as their student, you both are setting yourselves up for disappointment. Oscar Eckenstein, the man Crowley considered his greatest magic teacher, thought magic was silly and that occultists were a waste of time. Still, Crowley learned from Eckenstein how to master himself and develop his yogic skills and powers of concentration. Without those skills, magic is just theory. Regardie wasn't my magic teacher, but I learned a lot from his attitudes and the simple example of his life. He answered specific questions when I had them, but 9 times out of 10 I disagreed with him and ignored his advice, and 9 out of 10 times I was right. I also learned a lot from my formal AA teacher, but I must tell you that I learned those things in spite of her efforts to educate me rather than because of them. I certainly learned what a horse's ass someone can be when they presume to guide another's magical progress. But your question is fair, and I'm talking like an anarchist. Maybe I should actually try to make suggestions. The most fundamental advice I can give is to look for someone who actually has a life. Someone who can hold his own in a room full of people, perhaps even Republicans, who know nothing about magical things, and most importantly, a person who can actually attract lovers from a pool of people who are not at all impressed with his or her mastery of occultism, magic, witchcraft, religion, or politics. Once you found people like that, look for someone who's relatively happy with his or her life. Look for somebody who appears to be relatively true to himself or herself. Look for someone who appears to be actually evolving before your eyes. Look for someone who seems to be telling the truth even when it reflects poorly upon them. Look for somebody who says, I don't know a lot. Look for someone with more questions than answers. Look for somebody who would rather study with you than lecture to you. Look for somebody who seems to be able to put things into words, things that you already know but didn't know how to say it. Finally, look for somebody who will be happy when you have surpassed him or her intellectually and spiritually. In other words, look for other students who are studying the same things you are and who may have a bit more experience than you presently have. Don't kid yourself. You said it yourself. Just being on the path, you are waking up each morning to the inescapable fact that as little as you think you know, you already know more than most people about those things. Trust me, one of these mornings you're going to wake up and realize that most, if not all, of the people who know more than you are dead. And there you are, a venerable authority with lots of questions, looking for someone to teach you the answers. And you may as well start looking in the mirror right now. I hope this has been helpful. 93. Well, I hope this has been helpful. I have 35 more of these things to make, so I got to get into my crafting clothes. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday morning cartoons. Until then, be your own teacher. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.